He lied to me that he has never been married, and he wants to marry me, and I saw pictures of him and his wife and children on his Instagram page. Please stay with me and listen carefully because everything I'm about to tell you will change the way you trust people. I am looking at my ring. 2 carats. Beautiful, isn't it? This ring represented everything I thought I wanted: love, commitment, a future with a man who promised me forever. Until that Saturday morning when I opened Instagram and discovered his wife. His 3 children. His entire 12-year marriage that he swore never existed. My name is Mirabel Yukina, and this is the story of how one Instagram notification destroyed my perfect life and saved me from the biggest mistake I would have ever made. Welcome back to NK's Tales. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Your support truly encourages me to continue sharing these powerful tales with you. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from. That Saturday started like any other. I was lying in bed, still grinning like a fool because the night before, Daniel and I had finalized our traditional wedding colors. Purple and gold. My favorite colors, he remembered. Everything about that man felt perfect. He'd kissed my forehead before dropping me home. I can't wait to make you my wife, Mirabel. You're everything I've ever prayed for. Those words wrapped around me like a warm blanket. I believed every syllable. God help me, I believed him completely. So there I was, just wasting time on Instagram before getting ready to go to the market with my mother. Scrolling mindlessly through posts, double-tapping photos, watching stories. Then the algorithm did something strange. It suggested an account to me. The profile picture stopped my thumb mid-scroll. A woman with 3 children. Something about the oldest boy's smile made my heart skip. I can't explain it. Maybe it was intuition. Maybe it was God trying to warn me. But that smile, it looked familiar in a way that made my stomach clench. The account name read Ngozi_Nwofor_PTH. Nwofor. My fiancé's surname. My brain immediately tried to rationalize it. Nwofor is common, right? Thousands of Nwofors across the world. This was just a coincidence. Had to be. But my finger clicked on the profile anyway, like my body knew something my mind refused to accept. Private account. I could only see the profile picture and the bio. Wife. Mother of 3. Teacher. God's favorite. Wife. That word stared back at me. My chest tightened. I clicked the follow request button before I could stop myself, before logic could intervene. Then I put my phone down, got dressed, tried to convince myself I was being paranoid. Daniel had told me his story so many times. Never married. Always focused on his career. Waiting for the right woman. The right woman for me. He'd said it 100 times. Mirabel, I've been waiting for you my whole life. At the market with my mother, I was distracted. She noticed immediately. Mirabel, I'm talking to you. Where is your mind? Just tired, Mama. But tired wasn't the word. Anxious. Uneasy. Something was crawling under my skin, making me check my phone every 5 minutes. Evening came. I was back home, lying on my bed, staring at the ceiling. Then my phone buzzed. Ngozi_Nwofor_PTH accepted your follow request. My hand started trembling. I sat up slowly, unlocked my phone, opened Instagram. My finger hovered over her profile for what felt like an eternity. Then I clicked. The first post I saw was from 3 days ago. A family photo. Professional photography. Studio lighting. White outfits. A beautiful woman with a warm smile, 3 children arranged around her, and standing behind them with his hands on her shoulders, Daniel. My Daniel. His face. That smile I'd kissed. Those eyes that had looked into mine and promised forever. The caption underneath made my vision blur. 12 years married to this man. Not always easy, but we keep pushing. Love you always, my darling husband. I ran to my bathroom and vomited. Everything came up. The jollof rice from lunch. The Fanta from the market. Everything. I vomited until there was nothing left but bile and the taste of betrayal. My body was rejecting the truth before my mind could fully process it. I crawled back to my bed. I kept scrolling. I had to see all of it. I needed to understand the depth of this deception. December 2023, Christmas family photo. Daniel wearing a Santa hat. The youngest child, a little girl, sitting on his lap. Her smile was pure joy. November 2023, happy birthday to my first son, Chidra. 11 years of watching you grow. Your father and I are so proud. The boy in the photo had Daniel's exact face. Same nose. Same smile. Same dimple on the left cheek. October 2023, date night with my husband. After 12 years and 3 children, we still make time for us. Daniel wearing a shirt I'd seen hanging in his closet. The closet he told me was in his house. His house in Lekki that I'd visited. The house where we'd planned our future. I scrolled back further. Years and years of posts. Birthday parties. School graduations. Church services. Family vacations to Calabar. Anniversary celebrations. An entire life documented in photos. An entire marriage. 3 entire children. Chidra, 11 years old. Kamsi, 8 years old. Oluchi, 5 years old. Real names. Real faces. Real children who called him daddy. And me. For 10 months, I'd been building a future with a man who already had a family. A man who'd looked me in my eyes every single day and lied. Every kiss was a lie. Every promise was a lie. Every time he called me my wife, it was a lie because he already had a wife. A real wife who'd given him 12 years and 3 children. My phone rang. Amanda. My best friend. I answered, and before she could say hello, I was sobbing. Mandy, you need to come here. Now. Please. What happened? Mirabelle, what's wrong? Just come. Please. She arrived within an hour. I showed her the Instagram profile. Her face went from confused to horrified to furious in seconds. Every curse word in Igbo and English came out of her mouth. I knew it. Mirabelle, I knew something was wrong with that man. A man that successful, that handsome, 40 years old and never married. In Nigeria. That doesn't happen. Men like that don't stay single unless they're hiding something. But I'd wanted to believe. That was my mistake. I'd wanted the fairy tale so desperately that I'd ignored every red flag. The way he always paid in cash, never cards. The way he never invited me to Port Harcourt even though he claimed he traveled there for work constantly. The way his phone was always face down when we were together. The way he'd get calls and step outside, coming back with vague explanations. Work stuff. You know how it is. Amanda and I spent the entire night building a case. Screenshots of every post. Every photo. Every caption. We created a fake account and found Ngozi on Facebook. Even more evidence there. Posts from family members congratulating them on anniversaries. Friends commenting on photos. Family goals. Beautiful couple. God bless your marriage. The address tags on some posts showed Port Harcourt locations. All those business trips he told me about, he was going home to his family. We found posts about the children. Chidra's school performances. Kamsi's 8th birthday party. Oluchi's first day of kindergarten. Daniel was in many of these photos. Playing football with his sons. Holding his daughter. Cutting birthday cakes. Attending church services. He wasn't an absent father. He was present in Port Harcourt while building a second life in Lagos with me. Amanda looked at me, tears in her eyes. What are you going to do? I didn't know. My entire world had collapsed in the span of a few hours. The wedding we'd been planning. The introduction ceremony scheduled for next month. The Osoebi I'd already distributed to family members. The 500,000 naira deposit I'd paid the caterer. All of it was built on lies. But I couldn't confront him yet. I needed more information. I needed to understand how deep this deception went. So I kept silent for 3 days. 3 of the longest days of my life. Daniel texted me every morning. Good morning, my wife. Can't wait to make that official. I stared at those words until they burned into my brain. My wife. But he already had a wife. Every morning, that text came through, and every morning, I had to pretend everything was normal. He'd call during lunch breaks, his voice cheerful and loving. Baby, I was thinking we should book the event center this week. The one in Lekki. What do you think? Sure, sounds good. You okay? You sound tired. Just busy with work. Don't stress yourself too much. You need your energy for all this wedding planning. I'd hung up and want to scream. But I held it in. I started asking careful questions, designed to trap him in his lies. Baby, when last did you visit Port Harcourt? Last month I think. Why? Just curious. You travel there so much. Yeah, it's exhausting. I hate those trips. But the money is good, so what can I do? I checked Ngozi's Facebook. Last month. October 13th. A post with photos. Surprise birthday party for our little princess, Oluchi. 5 years old today. Thank you to my husband for making this day special despite your busy schedule. The photos showed Daniel in their home, surrounded by children and balloons, cutting a princess-themed birthday cake. His face was happy. Genuinely happy. Not the face of a man on a boring business trip. He told me he was stuck in conference rooms. Complained about the hotel food. Even sent me a photo of paperwork to prove he was working. All lies. He'd been celebrating his daughter's 5th birthday. I kept digging. The house in Lekki he'd shown me as his home, I asked around through mutual contacts. It belonged to a friend who traveled frequently. Daniel was house-sitting. He didn't own it. His real home was in Port Harcourt with Ngozi and the children. Everything he'd shown me was borrowed or rented or fake. The car. Company financed. The expensive dinners. Company credit card. The lavish Lagos lifestyle. Smoke and mirrors. Meanwhile, according to Ngozi's post, their children attended struggling public schools. She'd posted once about fundraising for Chidra's school fees. Her husband was spending money on engagement rings and romantic getaways while his children struggled. Amanda saw everything I'd found. She held my hand. He's not just a liar, Mirabelle. He's wicked. He's stealing from his family to impress you. Those children are suffering while he's playing big man in Lagos. That's when I knew I had to act. Not just for me. For Ngozi. For Chidra, Kamsi, and Oluchi. For every woman Daniel might deceive in the future. I had to stop him. I opened Instagram. Stared at Ngozi's profile. Drafted a message. Deleted it. Rewrote it. Deleted it again. How do you tell a woman her husband proposed to you? How do you shatter someone's world while trying to save them? After 2 hours, I finally sent it. Good evening, my name is Mirabelle. I need to speak with you about Daniel. It's urgent and I'm not trying to cause trouble, but you deserve to know something. I hit send. My heart was racing. What if she didn't believe me? What if she thought I was just a jealous woman trying to destroy her marriage? What if she blamed me? 2 hours passed. The longest 2 hours of my life. Then, at 9:47 p.m., my phone buzzed. Who are you? What about my husband? My hands shook so hard I could barely type. Daniel asked me to marry him 2 months ago. We've been together for 10 months. He told me he's never been married. We have an introduction ceremony planned for next month. I found your Instagram 3 days ago. I didn't know about you. I didn't know about your children. I'm so sorry. I attached everything. The proposal photos. The engagement ring. The introduction ceremony invitation. The text messages where he called me his wife. All of it. Then I waited. Ngozi was online but not responding. I imagined her looking at the evidence, watching her marriage collapse in real time. I felt like a monster, but I had no choice. 3 hours later, just after midnight, her response came. 4 words. I will meet you tomorrow, in Lagos. Yes, she replied. I sent her my office address. Then I lay in bed, unable to sleep, wondering what tomorrow would bring. But before meeting Ngozi, I needed to hear Daniel say it. I needed to watch him try to explain the unexplainable. At 1:30 a.m., I called him. He answered, voice groggy. Baby. What's wrong? It's late. I need to ask you something, and I need the truth. Okay, you're scaring me. What's going on? Have you ever been married, Daniel? Please, just tell me the truth. The pause was too long. In that silence, I heard everything. The panic. The calculations. The desperate search for an escape. Baby, why are you asking me this? I already told you, I saw Ngozi's Instagram. I saw your children. I know everything, Daniel. I know about Chidra, Kamsi, and Oluchi. I know about your house in Port Harcourt. I know about your 12-year marriage. So please, stop lying. Another pause. Then his voice changed. Softer. Pleading. Mirabel, let me explain. It's not what you think. Please, just let me. I hung up. Blocked his number. Blocked him everywhere. WhatsApp. Instagram. Facebook. I didn't want his explanations. I knew if I listened, he'd try to manipulate me. Make me doubt what I knew was true. But I wasn't crazy. The evidence was clear. Daniel Nwafa was a married man with 3 children who'd almost made me his second wife. Have you ever discovered a lie so big it made you question everything you thought you knew? Drop your story in the comments because what happens next proves that sometimes the worst betrayals come from the people we trust most. If this story is hitting close to home, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications because you need to see how this ends. The confrontation that's coming will shock you. Question: if you found out your fiancé was married with children, would you confront him first or reach out to his wife? Tell me what you do in the comments below. The next afternoon, I sat in a conference room at my office, waiting for Ngozi. My heart wouldn't stop racing. What do you say to your fiancé's wife? How do you look her in the eye knowing you were planning to marry her husband? When she walked through that door, I stood up immediately. She was beautiful. Tall. Elegant. Wearing a simple Ankara dress and carrying a worn handbag. But it was her face that broke my heart. Exhausted. Not from lack of sleep but from years of loving someone who didn't deserve it. We stared at each other for a long moment. 2 women who should have been enemies, united by one man's betrayal. Then she sat down across from me. So you're Mirabel? Yes. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I believe you. Show me everything. For the next 3 hours, We sat in that conference room piecing together Daniel's double life. Ngozi told me her story first. We met at the University of Port Harcourt. I was studying education. He was in engineering. We fell in love fast. Too fast, maybe. Got married the year after graduation. I was 20 years old. He was 23. I got pregnant with Chidra almost immediately. She pulled out her phone and showed me family photos from years ago. Young Daniel, holding a newborn baby, looking happy. He was a good father at first. Present. Involved. We were struggling financially, but we were happy. Then Kamsi came 2 years later. Then Oluchi 3 years after that. 3 children before I turned 30. She showed me bank statements. The money Daniel sent monthly was barely enough for rent and food. Nothing like the lifestyle he was living in Lagos. Our children go to public school because we can't afford private school fees. I teach at a secondary school. My salary helps, but it's not much. I've been asking Daniel when things will get better. He always says soon. Just a few more months of hard work. I believed him. Tears rolled down her cheeks. 2 years ago, he started traveling more. Port Harcourt to Lagos, sometimes for weeks. He said he was building his career. Making money for our family. I thought he was sacrificing time with us for our future. I had no idea he was building a completely different life. She looked at me with such raw pain. He was planning to marry you. With what money? Where would you have lived? Did he think he could keep both families separate forever? I didn't have answers. None of it made sense. But lies don't have to make sense. They just have to work long enough to get what the liar wants. I showed her everything on my phone. Every text message. Every photo. Every promise Daniel had made. The receipt for the engagement ring, 350,000 naira. The deposit for catering, 200,000 naira. The Osoebi I distributed. The invitation cards we printed. The whole elaborate wedding we'd been planning. Ngozi stared at the receipts. 350,000 for a ring. Chidra came home crying last month because the school threatened to send him home for unpaid fees. 15,000 naira. That's all we needed. 15,000 naira, and Daniel told me he didn't have it. But he had 350,000 for a ring for another woman. Her voice broke. Kamsi needs glasses. He can barely see the board at school. I've been saving from my salary, bit by bit, to buy them. Meanwhile, Daniel is taking you to expensive restaurants and weekend resorts. She showed me Facebook posts about struggling to buy textbooks, about stretching her salary to feed 3 growing children, about praying for financial breakthrough while her husband spent lavishly on his Lagos girlfriend. We sat in silence for a moment, both processing the magnitude of his betrayal. Then Ngozi's face changed. The pain hardened into something fierce. He's going to face consequences for this. What do you want to do? Expose him. Publicly. Completely. Make sure everyone knows exactly who Daniel Nofa is. We started planning. Amanda joined us, and the 3 of us became a team. We documented everything. Screenshots organized by date. Bank statements showing the discrepancy between what he spent in Lagos versus what he sent home. Facebook posts proving he was in Port Harcourt during times he told me he was on business trips. Company expense report Amanda helped me access through a contact, showing Daniel had been charging personal expenses as business cost for months. The expensive dinners where he'd taken me. Company credit card. The hotel stays. Company credit card. Even the proposal venue. Company credit card. He'd been stealing from his employer to fund his double life. This wasn't just about infidelity anymore. This was fraud. We needed to confront him, but privately wouldn't work. Men like Daniel are expert manipulators. Give them a private conversation, and they'll twist the narrative. They'll cry. They'll apologize. They'll make promises they never intend to keep. We needed witnesses. We needed public accountability. I unblocked Daniel's number and sent a message. I overreacted. I'm sorry. Can we talk? I miss you. His response came within seconds. Baby, thank God. I've been going crazy. I can explain everything. When can I see you? The eagerness in his message made me sick. He thought he'd won. Thought one conversation would fix everything. Tonight. Dinner at Yellow Chili in Victoria Island. 7 o'clock. I'll be there. I love you, Mirabel. We are going to walk through this. I showed the exchange to Ngozi and Amanda. Ngozi smiled, but there was no warmth in it. He has no idea what's waiting for him. I called my mother next. That was the hardest call. My mother had been so happy about the engagement. So proud. Telling her it was all a lie felt like I was disappointing her. Mama, I need to tell you something about Daniel. What is it? He's married, Mama. He has 3 children. He's been lying to me this whole time. The silence on the other end lasted forever. Then my mother's voice came through, steady and strong. Where are you meeting him? Yellow Chili. Tonight at 7. I'm coming with you. He doesn't just disrespect you. He disrespects this entire family. And that kind of disrespect doesn't go unanswered. That evening, we all went to Yellow Chili. Ngozi, Amanda, my mother, and me. We arrived early. I sat at a table near the window where Daniel would see me immediately. The others sat at different tables, blending in with the restaurant crowd, waiting. At 7:05 p.m., Daniel's Range Rover pulled up outside. I watched him check his reflection in the side mirror, smooth down his designer shirt, pick up a bouquet of roses from the passenger seat. He looked confident. Relieved. Like he'd successfully managed his mess. He walked in, spotted me, and his face broke into that charming smile I used to love. He approached with the roses extended. Baby, I'm so glad you agreed to see me. I know what you saw looked bad, but if you just let me explain. I stood up. My voice was calm. Explain what, Daniel? His smile faltered. Something in my tone warned him. Explain the situation. It's complicated, but... That's when Ngozi stood up from her table and walked over. Daniel's face went red. Actually red. All color drained. The roses fell from his hands and scattered on the floor. Hello, husband. He turned to me, then back to Ngozi, then back to me. His mouth opened and closed. No words came out. Then Amanda stood up, phone recording. Please do explain, Daniel. We'd all love to hear this. Then my mother rose from her seat, arms crossed, expression fierce. Yes, explain to my daughter why you were planning to marry her while already married with 3 children. The restaurant had gone quiet. Other diners stopped eating. Servers stopped moving. Everyone was watching. Daniel looked around, trapped, panic flooding his face. Mirabel, can we go outside and talk about this privately? No. Please, you're embarrassing me, embarrassing you. Ngozi's voice cut through the air like a knife. You've been lying to me for 2 years. Lying to Mirabel for 10 months. You were planning to commit bigamy. You were stealing money from your children to impress your girlfriend. And you're worried about embarrassment. Daniel tried to move toward the door. My mother stepped in front of him. At 60 years old, my mother barely reaches 5 feet, but in that moment, she was 10 feet of pure fury. You will not run from this. You will stand here and face what you've done. More, Please, you can what? Lie more. My daughter showed me everything. The text. The photos. The promises. You came to my house. You ate at my table. You asked for my blessing to marry my daughter. And all of it was lies. What kind of man does that? Daniel's facade was cracking. The smooth businessman was gone. Now he just looked desperate. Ngozi, baby, please. Think about the children. Don't do this here. Don't you dare. Ngozi's voice shook with rage. Don't you dare use our children as a shield. You should have thought about them before you spent their school fees on engagement rings. You should have thought about them before you built a whole second life. Other diners were murmuring. A woman at a nearby table spoke loudly. This is why I don't trust men. They are all the same. Another person pulled out their phone and started recording. Daniel noticed the cameras and panicked more. Can we please take this outside? This is between us. I spoke again, my voice steady. No, Daniel. You made it public when you proposed to me in a public place. You made it public when you posted our engagement photos on social media. You made it public when you introduced me to your colleagues as your fiancé. So now, you get to publicly face the consequences. Amanda moved closer with her phone. For the record, Daniel Nwofa, can you confirm that you're married to Ngozi Nwofa and have been for 12 years? He stared at the camera, trapped. Silence. Can you confirm that you proposed to Mirabel Yukine 2 months ago despite being married? More silence. Can you confirm that you were planning to marry Mirabel next month without divorcing your wife? Daniel's jaw clenched. Turn that camera off. Why? Scared of the truth going viral. Too late. This is already going on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. And I'm tagging your company. His face went from pale to green. You can't do that. I'll lose my job. You should have thought about that before you committed fraud. Before you misuse company resources. Your employer needs to know you've been using company credit cards for personal expenses. We had receipts. Amanda had helped me gather documentation of every dinner, every hotel, every purchase Daniel made on company accounts. Daniel looked at all 4 of us, and for the first time, I saw real fear. Not charm. Not manipulation. Just the fear of a man who'd been caught and was realizing how much he was about to lose. Please. Please don't do this. Ngozi stepped closer. You did this. Not us. You chose to lie. You chose to deceive. You chose to betray your wife, your children, your fiancé. These are your consequences, Daniel. Now you live with them. She turned to me. Are we done here? I nodded. I looked at Daniel one last time. This man I thought I loved. This man who never existed. We are done. Forever. We walked out together. For women who refuse to be victims. Behind us, Daniel stood in that restaurant, surrounded by staring strangers, holding roses meant to manipulate forgiveness, watching his carefully constructed life collapse. Amanda posted the video that night. By morning, 10,000 views. By afternoon, 50,000. People shared it everywhere, commenting, tagging his company, demanding justice. Are we harsh for exposing him publicly? Should we have handled this privately? Would you do the same if you were in our position? Comment below and let me know. And if you're invested in seeing how Daniel faces the consequences of his actions, smash that subscribe button right now, because what happens next proves that justice isn't just about revenge, it's about protection. Question: do you think public exposure is justified in cases of cheating and fraud, or should it always be handled privately? I want to hear your opinion in the comments. The video went viral. Not just viral in Nigeria, viral across the world. Within 3 days, hundreds of thousands of views. People commenting from Ghana, Kenya, South Africa, everywhere. Women sharing their own stories of deception. Men calling out Daniel's behavior. The video spread like wildfire, and Daniel's carefully built reputation burned with it. His company saw the video. By Monday morning, Daniel was suspended pending an internal investigation. The company's HR department pulled his expense reports going back months. They found everything. The restaurants where he'd taken me, charged as client dinners. The hotels where we'd stayed, charged as business accommodations. The proposal venue, charged as a corporate event. Thousands and thousands of naira worth of fraud. Wednesday afternoon, Ngozi called me. His company called me today. They wanted confirmation that he's married, that he has children, that he's been sending minimal support home. I showed them everything. Bank statements. School fee receipts. Everything. What did they say? They are filing criminal charges for embezzlement. Daniel will be lucky if he just loses his job. But losing his job was the least of his problems. The video had been shared in his professional networks. His colleagues saw it. His bosses saw it. His clients saw it. Everyone who'd ever respected Daniel Nofa now knew exactly who he was, a liar, a cheat, a fraud. He tried to call me from different numbers. I didn't answer. He tried to call Nosy. She blocked every number. Finally, he reached Amanda. She put him on speaker so Ngozi and I could hear. His voice was desperate. Please, I just need to talk to Mirabel. I need to explain. Explain what? That you're a liar. That you're a thief. We already know. I made a mistake. I love her. I love both of them. You don't love anyone but yourself. Stop calling. Amanda hung up. He didn't call again after that. Ngozi moved fast. Within a week, she'd filed for divorce. Her lawyer was aggressive. Full custody of the children. Child support based on Daniel's actual income, not the pittance he'd been sending. Repayment of all money he'd stolen from the family finances. Division of assets. Everything. The court case took 3 months. I attended several hearings to provide testimony. Every time I saw Daniel in that courtroom, he looked smaller. The expensive suits were gone, replaced with regular clothes. The confident swagger was gone, replaced with slumped shoulders. The Range Rover was gone, repossessed by the company. The judge was merciless. During one hearing, Daniel tried to argue that he loved his children, that he wanted to be part of their lives. The judge looked at him with pure contempt. Love is not what you feel. Love is what you do. And your actions show you loved yourself more than your family. You spent 350,000 naira on an engagement ring for your girlfriend while your son couldn't afford 15,000 naira for school fees. That's not love. That's selfishness. Ngozi was granted full custody. Daniel was ordered to pay substantial child support, 40% of his income, with wages garnished directly from his paycheck. He was ordered to repay Ngozi for 2 years of financial neglect. He was ordered to pay for the children's education, medical expenses, everything he should have been paying all along. His company fired him. After the investigation concluded, criminal charges were filed for embezzlement. He avoided jail time by agreeing to repay everything plus interest, but his professional reputation was destroyed. No oil and gas company in Nigeria would hire him. He ended up working at a small farm in Port Harcourt for a fraction of his previous salary. The Lekki lifestyle disappeared. The borrowed house was returned to its actual owner. The expensive restaurants and weekend getaways stopped. Daniel was forced to rent a small one-bedroom flat near his parents' house in Port Harcourt. The Instagram life he'd built was revealed for what it was, smoke and mirrors. His friends distanced themselves. The guys he used to hang out with in Lagos, the ones who'd envied his lifestyle, stopped answering his calls once they saw the video. Professional colleagues who'd respected him now looked at him with disgust. The social status he'd worked so hard to build crumbled overnight. For me, the process of untangling my life from his was painful in different ways. I had to call every family member I'd invited to the introduction ceremony. Explaining what happened over and over again, each conversation a fresh humiliation. Some relatives were sympathetic. Thank God you found out before the wedding. Others were judgmental. How did you not know? You should have investigated him better. Those comments hurt almost as much as Daniel's betrayal. I lost the 200,000 naira I'd paid the caterer. Lost money on Osoebi I'd distributed. Lost deposits on vendors I'd booked. But Amanda kept reminding me. Better to lose 200,000 now than waste your entire life with a liar. She was right. Money could be earned again. Time and dignity couldn't. The hardest part wasn't the financial loss. It was facing my own judgment. How had I not seen it? Red flags I'd ignored because I wanted the fairy tale. The way he never wanted me to visit him at home unannounced. The way he'd never post me on his main Instagram, only on his stories. The way his explanations for everything were always just vague enough to be believable. One evening, I broke down in front of Amanda. How could I be so stupid? So blind? She grabbed my shoulders. Stop it. This isn't your fault. Daniel is a professional liar. He lied to his wife for years. He was good at it. You're not stupid for believing someone you loved. You're human. My mother said something similar. Mirabel, there are people who lie so well that even God would believe them. The shame is not yours. It's his. But shame is stubborn. It clings to you even when logic says it shouldn't. I started therapy. Best decision I made. My therapist helped me understand that I'd been a victim of calculated manipulation. That trusting someone isn't weakness. That the problem wasn't my judgment, it was Daniel's character. Session by session, I started healing. Started separating Daniel's choices from my worth. I threw away everything he'd given me. Clothes. Jewelry. Gift. I didn't want reminders. The only thing I kept was a folder on my laptop titled Never Again. Screenshots. Evidence. Not to dwell on the past, but to remind myself of the lessons. To never ignore red flags again. To never love someone more than I love my own peace. Ngozi and I stayed in touch. We text every few weeks. Two women bonded by betrayal who became sisters. She was rebuilding her life too. She'd enrolled in a master's program in education. Got promoted at her school. Her Instagram posts changed. Before, they were about struggling and praying for breakthrough. Now they were about healing and growth. 3 months after the court case ended, she sent me a photo. Her and the kids at a beach in Lagos. All of them smiling. Real smiles. First vacation without Daniel. First time in years the kids have seen me truly happy. I cried reading that. Happy tears. 6 months later, another message. I met someone. A teacher at my school. He knows everything. The marriage. The divorce. The story. And he's still here. We are taking it slow, but Mirabel, it feels different. It feels honest. I was genuinely happy for her. She deserved honesty. She deserved a man who was proud to be with her, who didn't hide her, who treated her with respect. As for me, I hadn't dated anyone. Not because I was afraid, but because I wasn't ready. I was rediscovering myself. Who I was outside of wedding plans and compromises. What I needed. What I deserved. What I absolutely wouldn't tolerate. My non-negotiables became crystal clear. Complete honesty. Transparency. A man whose words match his actions. Someone who doesn't have locked phones and secret lives. Someone who's proud to be with me publicly, consistently, without hesitation. And if I never found that, I'd be okay. Because I learned that being alone is better than being with someone who makes you feel alone. 8 months after everything ended, Daniel tried one last time. He sent a letter to my mother's house. My mother gave it to me unopened. I held it for a moment, then threw it away without reading it. I didn't need his explanations. Nothing he could say would change what he'd done. That letter stayed in the trash where it belonged. If you've made it this far in this story, I need you to do something for me right now. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because stories like this need to be told. They need to be heard. And the ending, the real ending about healing, is something every person who's been betrayed needs to hear. Share this video with someone who might be ignoring red flags. Someone who needs to know they deserve better. Question: how long do you think it takes to truly heal from betrayal like this? Can you ever fully trust again? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. It's been over a year now since that Saturday morning. Over a year since my world fell apart. People ask if I've moved on, and the answer is complicated. Some days, I'm completely fine. I wake up grateful I discovered the truth before I married him, before I legally tied myself to a man who didn't respect honesty. I go to work, excel at my projects, laugh with my friends, enjoy my life. On those days, Daniel is just a chapter in my story. A painful chapter, but one I've learned from. Other days, the anger comes back. Not consuming anger, but still sharp. I'll see a couple planning their wedding, and I remember standing in bridal shops imagining my perfect day. I'll see a man surprise his girlfriend with flowers, and I remember thinking Daniel's gestures were genuine when they were just performance. Those days, I have to remind myself that healing isn't linear. That it's okay to still feel angry about injustice even while moving forward. But mostly, I feel relieved. Relieved that I found out when I did. Relieved that I didn't spend years discovering his lies the way Ngozi had. Relieved that I chose truth over comfort, confrontation over silence. That relief grows stronger every day. My mother and I had a conversation 6 months ago that healed something deep inside me. We were having tea, and I finally voiced my deepest fear. Mama, I'm sorry I disappointed you. I know you were excited about the wedding. She put down her cup and took my hand. Mirabel, you didn't disappoint me. Daniel disappointed both of us. But you made me proud. Many women would have married him anyway, ignored what they knew, convinced themselves that half a husband is better than none. But you chose yourself. You chose truth. That's not disappointment. That's strength. Those words freed me from guilt I didn't know I was carrying. The fear that I'd somehow failed by not making the relationship work. But it was never my responsibility to make lies work. That was Daniel's failure, not mine. Ngozi's transformation has been beautiful to watch. Her Instagram now shows a woman thriving. Her recent posts show her children excelling in better schools. She can afford private school now with proper child support. Show her graduating with her master's degree. Show her traveling, smiling, living. Last month's post said, "Sometimes God protects you by exposing what was hidden." I thought my life was ending. Turns out it was just beginning. The man she's dating now treats her children with respect. Shows up to their school events. Posts her publicly on his social media. Does all the things Daniel should have done but didn't. She's taking it slow, learning to trust again, but she's doing it with someone who's proven himself honest. As for me, I haven't dated. People keep asking when I get back out there, but I'm not ready. And that's okay. I'm not avoiding relationships out of fear. I'm choosing to be alone until I meet someone worth choosing. My therapist helped me understand the difference. Fear-based avoidance is running away. Wisdom-based waiting is running towards something better. I've been working on myself. Got promoted at work, senior marketing executive now. Started traveling more. I visited Zanzibar last month just because I wanted to. Reconnected with hobbies I'd abandoned while planning a wedding. I started painting again. Joined a book club. Built a life that's full and rich and mine. My standards are higher now. Some people say it's too high. You're going to end up alone with standards like that. But I'd rather be alone than settle for less than complete honesty. I'd rather wait for authentic love than accept counterfeit affection. The right person won't make me lower my standards. They'll meet them naturally. Last month, I ran into one of Daniel's former colleagues at a conference. He approached me cautiously. Mirabelle, right. I just wanted to say, what you did was brave. Exposing him like that. A lot of women wouldn't have had the courage. It wasn't about courage. It was about truth. Still, you saved other women from him. That matters. I hadn't thought about it that way. That by refusing to stay silent, I'd protected future victims. That by demanding consequences, I'd made it harder for Daniel to deceive someone else. My pain had purpose. That realization brought unexpected peace. I keep the engagement ring in a drawer. Not out of sentimentality, but as a reminder. Sometimes I take it out and look at it, remembering the girl who said yes to a proposal built on lies. She was naive maybe. Trusting definitely. But she wasn't stupid. She was hopeful. And there's nothing wrong with hope, as long as it's paired with wisdom. I'm building that wisdom now. Learning to listen to intuition. Learning that when something feels wrong, it probably is. Learning that love shouldn't require ignoring facts or excusing behavior. Learning that the right relationship won't make me question my sanity or investigate my partner's past. It will just feel honest from the beginning. My mother asked recently if I still believe in marriage. Yes, Mama. But I believe in honest marriage. The kind where both people show up fully, with no hidden families or secret lives. If I can't have that kind of marriage, I don't want marriage at all. She nodded, satisfied. Good. Never settle for less than you deserve. Amanda thinks I'm too cautious now. Not every man is Daniel, Mirabelle. You can't let one liar make you suspicious of everyone. Maybe she's right. But I'd rather be cautious than crushed again. I'd rather wait for something real than rush into something that looks real but isn't. 3 weeks ago, Ngozi called just to talk. We do that sometimes. Just check in. Share victories and struggles. Remind each other that we survived. Chidra asked about his father yesterday. What did you tell him? The truth, in a way he could understand. That his father made choices that hurt people. That we're building a better life now, without the lies. How did he take it? Better than I expected. Children are resilient. We talked for over an hour. About her kids. About her new relationship. About my promotion. About the future we are both building. And I realized something during that conversation. Daniel had tried to destroy both of us. He tried to use us, manipulate us, pit us against each other. But we'd refused to be destroyed. We'd demanded consequences. We'd rebuilt. We'd survived. That's the real story. Not the confrontation in the restaurant. Not the viral video. Not even Daniel's downfall. The real story is 2 women who refused to let one man's lies define their worth. Who chose healing over bitterness. Who survived and thrived. So here's what I want you to know if you're watching this because you're going through something similar. If you've discovered lies. If you've been betrayed. If you're wondering whether to stay or go. You deserve truth. You deserve honesty. You deserve a relationship where you don't have to investigate, question, or doubt. Walking away is hard. Confronting truth is painful. Rebuilding after betrayal is exhausting. But staying in lies is worse. Living with deception kills something inside you, your ability to trust, your sense of worth, your hope for better. Choose yourself. Choose truth. Choose freedom. Daniel lied about never being married. He lied about who he was, what he valued, what love meant. When I discovered the truth, I had a choice: protect his lie or protect myself. I chose myself. I chose truth. And I've never regretted it. Not when I canceled the wedding. Not when I faced embarrassment. Not when I had to rebuild from scratch. Because at the end of the day, I can look in the mirror and know I didn't settle for lies. If this story moved you, if it taught you something, if it reminded you of your own worth, please hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. There are more stories coming, stories of betrayal and survival, of demanding better and finding it. And drop a comment: what lesson are you taking from this? What would you do in your own situation? I read every comment. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Someone questioning their relationship. Someone who deserves to know they are worth more than lies. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next story. After everything Marable shared, what's the one thing you'll never tolerate in a relationship again? Let me know in the comments, because your standards matter, and they might help someone else realize what they deserve too.